So previously we set up our worksheet as our data sheet and our report sheet. We've got the last row set up and everything, but now that we're dealing with more than one sheet, not just the active sheet, we can't just put the word cells or the word range. We have to say which sheet it's coming from. So we precede the word cells or the word range by the abbreviated version of the sheet. So instead of saying this workbook sheet's data .cells, we could just say dsheet.cells because we've abbreviated the name. So the last row is coming from our data sheet, so dsheet.cells. What else have we got here? We've got, we're analyzing the data sheet here, so dsheet.cells, current row in column 4, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of how we're going to do all this here. Now the only thing we want to know about necessarily from the data sheet to the report sheet is, looks like we want the name and the sale amount, right? So we want column 1 and we want column 4 to go into column 1 and 2 on the other one. Does that make sense? I hope so. So if this sale amount is greater than or equal to, let's say 200, whatever it was, then we're going to pop it from one sheet to the other. Now we know that the current row is going to be Y on the report sheet, and the current row on the data sheet is going to be X. So let's just think of it that way. Let's start out with what we want. First, we want the current sheet on the report sheet to be receiving the value, so let's start there. How about rpt sheet.cells tab, and let's open up parentheses, and we're going to say the current row is going to be Y, which starts with 2, and then that's going to be column 1. And we see that Y on column 1 would be the name, and it looks like that's column 1 on the other one too, so that one is pretty darn easy. So we're going to have that one filled in with the current row on the dsheet cell, so dsheet.cells, open parentheses, X, comma, also on column 1. So that's going to be your name. So let's copy and paste this to the next row, or the next line on our code here. So now we have the report sheet is receiving a value on column 2 of the report sheet, but hey, look, we know that that is coming from column 4 from the data sheet, the D sheet here. So let's just make that 4, and then we're good to go. Instead of name, that's the sale amount. So quite simply, we have now filled up our My Report sheet with stuff from this. If column 4 is greater than or equal to our threshold amount that we typed in the input box. So we've got quite a good thing going on here. Let's take it one step at a time so that we can see what's going on. Let's hit F8 and debug a little bit here. How much money should they make? Let's say 400. We've seen this all in a text box, but let's see it populate onto this other sheet. And by the way, you don't have to select the sheet that you're wanting. In fact, it could be hidden and still it would run this report quite nicely for you. So Y is equal to 2, and I'm going to show you something that we need to do to increment the number that Y is in just a moment. Otherwise, you'll be copying over the same row forever on the report sheet. So is D sheet, blah, 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 is that 482, is that greater than or equal to 400? Well, yes, it is. So let's take the row 2, which is Y on here in column 1. That's going to be equal to, it looks like Geraldo. So it pops in Geraldo when I hit F8. The next thing is going to be the value 482 in the sale amount column. Column 2 on this one is coming from column 4 on that one. So let's hit F8, and there's 482 in the sale amount. Now, we're still on Y, and we're going to be on Y forever unless we change that. So after we get a good thing going here, we've completed our row, let's do Y equals Y plus 1. That means whatever this is now, let's add 1 to it, and that's what it will be in a second. So let's backtrack. This is what would have happened a moment ago. Let's hit F8. So now Y equals 3. So now we're looking at row 3 for whatever is to come. So we're going to not find it for some time. Let's click here and hit Control F8 to skip to the point where it would equal. So 555 is now greater than or equal to 400. So we found the next one. Looks like that was on row 6 of the data sheet. So F8 and F8. So that's our only other one. and then y would be equal to y plus 1, so then y would be looking at row 4, even though x, way on the data sheet, is looking at all these different rows. It's on 6 right now. And then it will keep going until it needs to do something else. So very quickly, let's hit F5. And, well, we don't want a message box at the end of this new macro, do we? Okay, so let's clear this manually. We'll show you how to clear that using code in just a moment. So let's hit F5. How much money should they make? Let's say 200. Hit OK. Oop, I missed it. Hit OK, and then there's your report. Boom. And then you can immediately print that, and let's show you what that would look like. Let's do a quick print preview and print. So this is what it would look like right there. I'm going to hit escape. I don't want to print that right now. So that's basically how to do your first macro. We can go ahead and make we can make one more button really quick. While we're at it, let's see here. We want to insert a shape, and I'm going to insert another nice little oval here. This one I'm going to make yellow, and I'm going to say Printable report. And we'll go ahead and size that up. In the next video, we're going to show you how to erase last report's result so that you can fit, so you won't be overwriting what was on there. We'll basically have it scoop through and erase the last result so that it may only print this much and it won't have the lingering stuff.